Today is Thursday, Yud Ches Kislev, Tafshin Ayin Daled, Erev Yites Kislev, Rosh Hashanah L'Chassidus. I believe today is the Yortzeit of Reb Baruch of Mezhebuz. We are in Teres Benachem, Sefer Mamar Tafshin Yud Aleph, Tafshin Yud Beis, in the Mamar Podoh Besholom Nafshi of Yites Kislev, Tafshin Yud Beis. And we are on page Kuf Ayin Tes, Ois Vov, chapter 6. The Rebbe is in the middle of explaining the concept of redemption peacefully, Podoh Besholom, which is a reference to Avodas HaBirurim, our service of Hashem, to refine and to lift matters of the body, the animal soul, our part in the world, in a peaceful manner. In the three areas of Torah, Gemilas Chasodim, and Tefillah. The Rebbe explained that concerning Torah, this is specifically a reference, even though Torah in general is the idea of peace, but in Torah itself you have a part of the Torah that is peace within peace, and that is the idea of learning Pnimiyus HaTorah, as the Rebbe explained at length in Eis Hey, that the study of the inner dimension of Torah is the aspect of Torah itself, which is Shalom. Now the Rebbe is going to explain that in Gemilas Chasodim. That's where we're up to in Eis Vav. So too it is concerning our service of Hashem in the area of Gemilas Chasodim, bestowing kindness. The Hinei Amr Razal, for our sages say, Tzedakah la'aniyim. Charity is for the poor. Gemilas Chasodim bein la'aniyim bein la'ashirim. Whereas bestowing kindness is both for the poor and for the rich. The Gemara in Sukkah says, there's a whole section there where the Gemara talks about Tzedakah and Gemilas Chasodim. And the Gemara says that over there, I think it says Tana Rabbanon, there are three things, three areas in which, three differences between Tzedakah and Gemilas Chasodim. Tzedakah is b'ma'oinai. Tzedakah is with one's money. You give charity with money. Gemilas Chasodim, bestowing kindness, is bein begufe, bein b'ma'oinai, both with your body and with your money. You can bestow kindness by doing someone a favor. Rashi brings a number of examples there. Achnos Askala, etc., etc., or not a assisting with your body. That's also bestowing kindness. So that's bein begufi bein b'mamayne. Another difference is tzedakah is la'aniyim, to the poor. Charity is to the poor. Gemilas Chasodim, bestowing kindness, is both to the poor and to the rich. Sometimes a rich man needs assistance as well, alone or otherwise. And another difference is that tzedakah is to the living, l'chaim, and Gemilas Chasodim could be both for the living and for the deceased. So in any event, we see over here that what? Tzedakah is to the poor, Gemilas Chasodim is both to the poor and to the rich. The Rebbe specifically mentions this because the Rebbe will explain the idea of poverty and wealth, Beruchnias, as we'll see in a minute. V'hainu, she'inyan tzedakah, the idea of charity is rak l'malas ha'chasoron, as a chasoron, just to fill that which one is lacking. As it says in the verse, the Torah, when in Chumash Dvarim, it says like this, when it talks about tzedakah. Ki yiyeh b'cha evyoin ma'achad achecha, I'm quoting from the pasuk. Ba'achad she'orecha, ba'artzach Hashem alekecha neisen lach. When there will be among you a needy person from one of your brothers, in one of your cities, in your land that Hashem is giving to you, lo yisa'ameitz es levavcha v'lo yisikpeitz es yodcha me'achecha evyoin. And you should not harden your heart, and you should not close your hand from your needy brother. Hanik tamikle, you should give him de machserei, enough of what he's missing, asher yechserle, which he is lacking. So there's a double expression. De machserei asher yechserle, sufficient for what he's lacking, for the lack which he is lacking. What's the double expression? So the Gemara says, Tana Rabbanon, this is a Gemara in Ksubis, the Gemara says, what does de machserei mean? You you are instructed, the mitzvah of tzedakah is to sustain him, the poor man, but you're not obliged to make him wealthy. That's what we learn from Dei Machserei. Sufficient for him to subsist, right? Asher yechser loy, what's the addition? That which he is lacking. So it says the Gemara, afilu sus likrev olav ve'eved loros lefanov, even a horse to ride upon, and a slave to run before him. Which means to say, if this is a person who is usually accustomed to that type of lifestyle, and he suddenly finds himself in a difficult situation and he needs charity, so the obligation extends also to sustain him according to what he's accustomed to, right? And the Gemara carries on, Omru Olav, in fact, on this Asher Yechsel, Eved Loros Lefanov, a servant to run before him, I think there's a machlekes whether it means that whether it means that you should hire it for him or you should give it to him. But in any event, machlekes Rishonim discussing exactly whether you have to provide it for him as a gift or just to hire it. Anyway, be that as it may, the Gemara carries on and says, Amru Olav al Hillel Hazakin. It has been said about Hillel the elder, Shelokach la'ani ben Tevim echad, that he bought for a certain poor, bought or hired for a certain poor man who was of a good family. In other words, came from nobility or from, he was accustomed to that kind of lifestyle. So he took for him, provided for him a horse to ride upon and a slave to run before him. And the Gemara carries on and says, Pam achas, once it happened, le'motz eved loros lefanov, he couldn't find a slave, a servant, to run before him. What did he do? V'rotz lefanov shleisha milin, he himself, Hillel Hazaken, provided the service and ran in front of him for 3 miles. So be that as it may, Dei Machserei Asher Yechsel means that the idea of tzedakah is to provide for the person that which he needs and which he's accustomed to. But, says the Rebbe, this is all in the bracket of what? Providing that which is lacking, even the horse and the slave and the servant. Why? What does that mean in Avedas Hashem? That means in serving Hashem, the provision of everything that one is lacking for the service of Hashem at that time and in that place. So one would think, it would seem that a horse and a slave are, trappings, extra trappings, says the Rebbe, but this is still not the idea of wealth. Why? Because as we just learned in the Gemara, you just provide for him that which is lacking, but you're not obliged to make the person wealthy. So what's the difference between as described now, even with the horse and with the slave, and wealth? What's the difference? Says the Rebbe, the idea is, it's known, the whole concept, the whole existence of the other side of Kedusha, the source of its source, where is it rooted originally? It comes from the first contraction. When Hashem contracted His infinite light to the side, so to speak, that tzimtzum is the root of the opposite side of Kedusha. Why? Because the tzimtzum means Hashem, as it were, created a place where the Ein Sof does not shine. Now, of course, at the tzimtzum, of course, that contraction is godly and united with Hashem and so on and so forth. However, says the Rebbe, the first contraction was in a mode of removal. It wasn't just diminishing, reducing. It was removal, complete removal. And after the tzimtzum, what happened? Hashem made the revelation of the light of the kav, of the line of godly, Ein Sof, where did that Gilei HaKav come from? Where did the revelation of the line of godliness, of Eir, come from? From the Eir, from the divine light that was pushed to the side, metaphorically speaking. The Nimtza comes out from this, Sham Shochas HaKav, that the drawing down of the Kav of divine light into the Tzimtzum, into the area of the Tzimtzum, of the contraction, all that is happening is Hashem refilled that which was missing. Which means that the light that was removed and was lacking Only this light was returned and drawn down back into the empty space. And through this, that which was lacking was filled. So in other words, it wasn't new. Right? It was just filling up that which was missing. But all this is only phenomena of revelations alone. Revelations, and not what? Not the very essence of Hashem. Why? Because no contraction at all can be associated with the very essence of Hashem in any way. So therefore, when we say tzimtzum, the tzimtzum is where? In the Giluyim, in the revelations. And when we say Hamshachas Hakav, the drawing down of the divine infinite light, is the drawing down of what? Also of Giluyim, of revelations. And therefore, since we're talking about Giluyim, that the siluk was, the removal was in the Giluyim, and it returned, what returned was also Giluyim revelations. Therefore, after many descents, what could come out of it, could come out from it initial period, the idea of fragmentation and separation, which means the opposite of Kedusha. And that's why there's a necessity for what? For a war. But the key, since the intended wholesome intention, goal is that the redemption should be peaceful, therefore, tzedakah itself, charity itself is not sufficient. What is charity? Beruchnius, or even begashmis. We just explained that tzedakah is just to provide that which is lacking. What would that be, beruchnius? In the way we're discussing it now spiritually, the idea of drawing down the oil which was lacking, the divine light that became lacking through what? Through the tzimtzum. That's charity. Hamshachas hakav is tzedakah. Drawing down the kav into the tzimtzum is what? Is tzedakah, but that's not sufficient. Because we need what? Podoh Besholom Nafshi, we need redemption peacefully. And in the Gemilas Chasadim, we need the idea of Gemilas Chasadim, acts of kindness, Hainud, which means when you give Gemilas Chasadim, as we just said before, Gemilas Chasadim, acts of kindness, is also for whom? Not only for the poor, but also for the rich. He gives Leirak de Machseder, not only which is lacking, even what is lacking for him, which includes a slave and a horse and so on and so forth. All that is still Giluyim. There's still revelations. It's only refilling that which was missing. Gemilas Chasadim means you give everything that is asked of him. Without asking, if this is a matter of filling that which was lacking, or whether that through this something new is added as well. What does that mean concerning the hamshachas, the giluyim, that which we draw down into the world? When we say move on from this is understood, also concerning that which we draw down into the world, through acts of kindness, we draw down not only the divine energy, the divine light, which became lacking through the contraction, the first symptom, we also draw down what? The very essence of Hashem. When we draw down Atzmos, the very essence of Hashem, the redemption is a peaceful one, but Tachlis Hashlemus in a full and wholesome manner. We'll stop over here, and in the Mitzvah tomorrow we'll continue. The Rebbe was going to explain the difference between Tefillah of Moshe and Tefillah of David, the prayer for the prayer of a poor man and the prayer of a rich man, and how all of that plays itself out.